I'm Tom Lincheri, and this is Chocolate Avenue Baking Company. So what's up, YouTube? It's been a couple of months since I posted anything, and well, it's been kind of a busy summer. You know, I went primitive camping for a while, and to be honest, just dealing with some personal issues and business things and such, all that good stuff. So, but now I'm back, and I have one thing really on my mind, and that's all of the fall baking and the holiday baking we can do together. So really looking forward to that. But hold on a minute. Before we get to fall, there's time for at least one or two more summer related items that we can check off our list here. And I would say that right now, the best thing we can concentrate on is fresh seasonal pies. And now, one of the best fresh seasonal pies this time of the year has to be peach pie. So for this video, I really couldn't decide whether I wanted to do, what type of peach pie I wanted to do, or I just know that right now peaches are at their absolute peak. So I spent the entire morning this morning combing the countryside of Adams County, which those of you who are from around the central PA area may or may not know. Adams County is where you can find all of the beautiful orchards, the fresh fruit trees out there, lots of apples, lots of peaches, anything you can really think of, all the stone fruits. So I found a little adorable roadside farmer stand, and they had organic peaches there, absolutely beautiful. And so now I decided to make two kinds of peach pies since I couldn't really decide on any one thing. So we're going to do a peach crumb pie, which is probably my favorite, and a peach Latisse pie with a Latisse top. So let's get started on that. And yeah, lots of work to do ahead. Lots of fall baking. Really looking forward to that. So let's get back into this. Okay, so first things first, we're going to want to make the pate sablee. And pate sablee is a French sweet dough, roughly translates to shortbread, I believe. And it's real nice with seasonal fruit pies like peaches or what have you. So I'm making a large recipe of the pate sablee because I may end up making several pies out of this. I have a lot of peaches, so it does have to be made ahead of time, and I would make the pate sablee first, so you can wrap it and form it into discs after it's made, and then wrap it and refrigerate it. You can after you make your discs, you can freeze it. Probably it'll keep pretty well for 3 to 4 weeks. So let's get started on that. Now I feel like pate sablee dough goes very well with peach pies because it'll hold up to the juiciness. It's a little more substantial, and it works very well for these recipes. So the first thing you're going to want to do with this pate sablee is just put in your sugar. This is 1 cup of organic granulated sugar, and then this is 9 ounces of room temperature butter. Usually I cube it up, but I forgot. This is Kerrygold. And you do want to use a nice quality butter for this. Unsalted is good. Just put it all in here. Like I said, this is made very differently than what you may be used to, like what bakers call a 3-2-1 dough, or just a flaky pie crust with just ice, water, and flour. So that was 9 ounces of unsalted butter and 1 cup of the granulated, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And this larger recipe will be enough for 4 or 5 pies. Depends on how big your pie plates are, of course. But so you just want to bring this together. So you may want to scrape this down once or twice just to get that nicely creamed together. So once you have your butter and sugar creamed, then you just add 1 room temperature egg at a time. I'm using 2 eggs in this recipe. These are organic eggs, and you do want to take the time to beat 1 egg at a time into this. I have 18 ounces of sifted organic flour here. Add that all at one time, just like that. And put this back onto the stand mixer. Just bring it together. It will literally just take maybe 30 seconds. And then as soon as it looks like that, just stop it and just finish it by hand. Just bring it together. Dough knife, bench knife, what have you, and just cut each one. Now, you should wrap this in plastic wrap real tight. And as I say, refrigerate it at least a couple of hours. Give it time to come together, but it's perfect. Okay, so once you've given your dough a thorough chill, it's important to let this dough kind of warm up a little bit before you try to roll it, or it can crack. You do have to still work with this dough cold, but you still have to let it kind of warm up a little bit. I'm going to do 2 pies. One is going to be a peach crumb pie, and the other one is going to be a peach Latisse pie with a Latisse top, which I'll get into a little bit later. I think these are 9-inch pie plates, I want to say. So I'm going to roll these out, and then we'll freeze them while we're making our peach filling. Okay, so once you have your pie dough rolled out, and I didn't go too thin because this is a sweet dough and I think it adds something to the dish. This is just crimped using 2 fingers and a thumb method. And then it helps if you pinch it a little bit, you can sort of get a little more detail on your crimp if you want your pie to look nice. So just spend a little bit of time on it. And so that one there's for the crumb pie. And then this other one, I'm not going to crimp it because we're going to put a Latisse top on it then. So you just put down a little bit of bench flour, not too much. You don't want to work a ton of flour into this. You can just put a little bit on your pan, and you have to let it warm up. Okay, so once you have your pie shells rolled out, and I put those pie shells in the freezer so that they can stay in nice condition. It's a little warm in here today. It's been really humid here in central PA. So the next thing that obviously you're going to need is your peach filling. Now, there are a lot of instructions out there on how to peel these when they're ripe like this. Some people say, you know, just cut them off with a paring knife. I've even seen a couple people say, you know, put them in boiling water for 20 seconds. Let's not get drastic. I mean, I would never subject these beautiful organic fruits to boiling water. So I just found that the easiest way to do this is to just use a vegetable peeler and you know, get yourself something to catch the peel, and just it's pretty easy deal from there, as long as your vegetable peeler is sharp. And then, so I'm just going to peel this one here and show you how to get the pit out. And this is a fairly ripe peach as well, so the peel's coming off quite easily with this. It's got soft spots, but that's how you definitely do not want to use peaches that are not ripe. If they're really hard, it doesn't matter how much sugar you add to it, it's not going to ever taste wonderful. So give these some time, you know, to soften up, and they should smell extremely fragrant. If you don't smell peach, then this is not going to make a nice pie, no matter what kind of peaches you use. So once you get the peel off of the peach, then you can use a paring knife. I'm just comfortable using a chef's knife. Just go around the entire circumference of the peach carefully, and it's a very simple matter. Just twist it, and you can just pull the pit out just like that. Whoops. And then you know, a lot of people, they like to slice these. I notice in the videos out there, I would suggest not to, you know, do the slicey thing. I definitely think you should chunk these up like that. I think they'll hold up better and make a nicer looking pie. So just give these kind of a rough chunk, maybe like each half, just cut them in thirds, something like that. Not too big, not too small, but they'll definitely make a nicer presenting pie, I feel, if you chunk these up like that. So I'm going to do these peaches here, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to make an absolutely incredibly delicious peach pie filling to go in those shells you worked so hard on. So I'm going to macerate this fruit. I said macerate this fruit. And the reason why we do this, basically that just means using sugar to extract the juices out of the peach. Because if you skip this step, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get a really soggy, loose pie. So I highly recommend not skipping this step. So what I'm going to do here is just, first off, put some of this lemon juice, fresh lemon juice please, into each portion of peach. How much? A couple tablespoons. You can skip this step. You don't have to put lemon peel in. I just like the way it tastes. it will give your peaches a little bit of sharpness to them. So now I'm going to sprinkle a half cup of this organic granulated sugar over each portion. So just stir it up. At this point, we're not trying to add any additional flavors or anything to this. We're just going to let this set for an hour, and then I'll show you how much juice comes out of this much peach here in 1 hour. Okay, so I'm getting ready to bring this pie filling together, and I just wanted to show you real fast how juicy, how much juice is in these peaches once you macerate these. There's quite a lot. These peaches have been given probably about 45 minutes at this point, and they're pretty juicy. So what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to put this over a strainer here, a sieve, and we're going to let that strain out into a sauce pot, and then we're going to thicken that up before we add it back into the pie filling. So in a minute here we're going to come back and I'll show you how this filling goes together. Okay, so as you can see, after giving the peaches about maybe 5 minutes to strain into the sauce pot, we have a nice close to 2 cups of incredible peach juice, and you want to just put that over a pretty low heat. Right now it's pretty raging hot. But what I have here is a cornstarch slurry, which is just some filtered water, and this is 3 tablespoons of non-GMO cornstarch. It's in your baker's aisle. And so right now it's just raging hot, so I'm just going to take it off of the heat so the cornstarch doesn't do anything funky. So you just pour that in there, and that's all that is. It's just the juices from the peaches and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch slurry. You just want to let that simmer for about a minute or so, just to get that raw cornstarch taste out of it till it thickens. Coats the back of a spoon. And if you do it this way, what this does is, instead of having a soggy mess on your pie, you have a nice tight consistency to a peach pie, and you can slice it down. Looks nice in the shell. So for the peach crumble pie, what I have here is the crumb topping all in one bowl, and all this is just a half a cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, freshly ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 3/4 of a cup of organic flour, 1/3 cup of unsalted butter, half a cup of quick oats, and a half teaspoon of sea salt. So you can use one of those pastry cutters. I don't mind. I like getting my hands into things. So you can just, once your butter softens up, and just turn this into a nice little crumble here to top on top of your pie, and it'll be amazing. So I'm going to put the brown sugar and the vanilla into the drained peaches. That's a 1/3 cup of the flour with a tablespoon of the cornstarch. In no particular order. I've got probably a couple tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. I'm just going to put a little bit over each one of these for some extra brightness. Then we've got the half teaspoon of the freshly ground cinnamon. And a half teaspoon of freshly ground nutmeg. Going into each portion. Then it's just a simple matter of breaking up that sugar, turning this into peach pie filling. Divvy up this unbelievable, this stuff. This is the star of the show right here. So I probably have 2 cups, so it's going to go maybe not quite 2 cups. Just divvy that up evenly. And this is going to make your pie just taste juicy and succulent, everything that a peach pie, that a summer peach pie should be. So then once you're done there with your pie filling, if you're following along at home, the one that I fluted, the crust that I fluted, is for the crumb pie, because this is getting a crumb topping here, which basically can't really be too much easier. And you definitely want to be generous with your crumb. It should be obvious to anyone who bakes. You're going to want to put a sheet pan under these pies. They will bubble and boil and toil, however that goes. So set that one to the side. We're going to put that on a sheet pan over there. Okay, so for those of you who have never made a Latisse top, I'm not going to lie, it can be a bit of a nuisance, you know, but there's a few things that could help you be successful. And the first thing is, egg wash is like glue. It is your friend when it comes to working with pie dough. It will repair tears and things like that. Just try to make sure that you roll out your dough round as close to the size of your pie top as you can, and also make sure that it's pretty soft and pliable in this case, and hopefully not sticking too bad to your marble or wood, whatever you like to work on. Now, as I said, egg wash is your friend, so the first thing I do, the reason why I leave this overhang on my bottom is so that I can put a good generous washing here, and all this is just a beaten egg and a little bit of filtered water. And then I wish I had one of those little dough crimpers, but all I have is a pizza wheel, so just make some. You can make them as thick as you want, as dainty as you want, but just try to be straight on this. That's why I'm using a pizza wheel. Just try to get as straight as humanly possible anyway. It'll help you out. Just eyeing them up. If you're extremely shall we say, you know, a perfectionist, you can always also, you know, get a roller out and mark these off. Probably would be not that bad of an idea to do that, but in this case I'm just kind of doing it like this. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do, and another friend when working with pie dough, pastry dough, is your bench knife. You can hopefully make things not quite as sticky. So just lay these out like that, right across the top. And obviously you're using your center cuts for your, you know, and then moving out from there. And I'm not using extremely thick. I rolled this fairly thin. So I think it's probably better to try not to make them your strips too too thick. So then just kind of eye it up here, and then you're on your ends. You can use a kind of a rounded piece there for those. Try to get a little bit better of a piece there. So then you're just going to take out half of the way here. Every other strip like that. And put them back. And then every other one again. Trying to work carefully. It can definitely be a little bit trying first few times you do this to get this correct. But that's basically it. You get the idea. Okay, so once you get your border on your latisse looking something like that, perhaps give it a good egg wash on top and then some granulated sugar over the top. If the egg wash, give it a nice golden brown crust. And also these pies, the edges, the crust will burn if you don't tent these with some aluminum foil. So I would highly suggest putting some aluminum foil around the outside. And then in my convection oven, I'm using 350 for, it takes about 50 minutes or so. Just keep turning it around so nothing, in case you have any uneven spots, so nothing will burn in there. Okay, so gave these pies just about an hour now. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera or not, but that's bubbling up in the center. That's a good sign that you're baked all the way through, and you can take the lattice pie out. So there's our crumb pie. That one only took about 50 minutes or so. take the tent off. Wow. Like everybody always says, I wish you could smell this right now. But obviously, even an idiot knows you can't cut into these types of fruit pies right off the bat. These need to have at least about 3 hours or so. Even 4 would probably be better. They have to set up inside. If you tried to cut this right now, you'd have an unholy mess. So these have to rest, unfortunately, and then we're gonna cut a big old slice and give this a try. Okay, so here are the finished pies, and I did actually have to let these in I actually put these in the refrigerator so they would set up, because they take forever. There's so much molten lava heat inside these pies. You really do have to give them a lot of time to set up properly, or they're just gonna, but I have to admit, last night the smells just got the best of me, and I had to actually steal a still warm piece of the peach crumb pie, and so that's what I have cut here, and words really cannot describe the flavors and the delicious aroma that these pies really can bring to an entire household. Just absolutely beautiful. Whenever you can get a good, really fresh, homemade, organic, seasonal pie, I mean, it's kind of hard to beat in the entire dessert kingdom. But so, now it's not fair that I ate the cherry crumb pie in private, so I have to have one of these in front of my audience, all 3 of you. So I'm going to go ahead and eat some more of this. And now, obviously, really, the way to have this is to warm it slightly in the microwave and then dump a whole pint of Haagen-Dazs vanilla all over this and call it a day. But unfortunately, I can only have 15,000 calories a day. I know, it's a tough diet. But so I'm just going to leave the ice cream out because I haven't even eaten dinner yet. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. And try to describe it to you. Wow. This is seriously a home run. Like I said, really these types of pies, whether it's apple, cherry, peach, you name it, seasonal pies are really, I put them up here. That's the pinnacle, one of the top desserts that you can master. And try this recipe. It's down in the description box. I feel as though this is spiced perfectly. It stays together. It slices so you can get an actual slice of pie without it looking like somebody took a hammer to it. And yeah, I mean, the taste is everything you can imagine. I mean, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, the brown sugar, the crumb topping with the oats everything. But really, the star of the show is definitely the peaches. The peaches are like these type of fresh peaches like that are just absolutely amazing. So give this a try, and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it. If you tried it, please let me know. Maybe we can sneak in one or maybe 2 more summer videos before we start the fall baking. So I will be seeing you soon.